Some of your favorite TV shows and channels could be controlled by a different parent company soon. According to reports, Paramount Global continues to talk with production company Skydance Media about a possible merger. Paramount's major properties include CBS, MTV, and Nickelodeon. It also owns Paramount Film Studios with the rights to movies like Titanic and the Indiana Jones franchise. Some quick background. This is Sherry Redstone right behind me. She's the controlling shareholder of Paramount. Redstone has become more interested in selling her shares in a merger, according to a report from the Wall Street Journal. But critics say she'd be getting a sweeter deal than shareholders in a potential Skydance merger. Former Paramount CEO Bob Bakish reportedly opposed the merger. That put him at odds with Redstone. And yesterday, the company announced Bakish stepped down from his role. Paramount stock finished the day trading at $11.37 per share. That's down more than 7%. Paramount stock has slipped more than 20% this year.
Seth Schachtner is with us now. He's managing director at Strat Americas, a consulting company that helps clients with media and technology partnerships. Seth, always good to see you. For those watching who don't really care about the drama of mergers and acquisitions, they just like the movies, the TV shows, the streaming content that Paramount puts out. What does all of this mean?
Well, I kind of hope at the top level that consumers don't feel anything from this, actually. So I think the things that it could mean to consumers are broad-based problems and challenges in the entertainment business in general, which is, if I had to summarize it, it's figuring out a digital future and trying to make it profitable. So, I think all of the studios here in LA, where I'm based, are in different ways struggling to figure out digital, to build subscribers for their streaming services, to blow out new services like ad-supported TV, and gain audience share and ultimately make it profitable. And they're ultimately all competing with Netflix. So I bet you could see whatever iteration happens, whether she does nothing or takes the Skydance bid or there's another bid from Apollo and Sony coming in, you'll probably see more refined versions of programming. And you could see things that are more concentrated, and you might see streaming services that are beefed up, basically. But my hope is that consumers actually don't suffer from this at all.
At the top now, you have 3 Paramount executives filling what they're calling the office of the CEO to replace the CEO, Bob Bakish, who stepped down this week. How common is it for 3 people to run a major company?
Not very common, but I will say I worked at Viacom Paramount years ago, and it's a really uncommon, complex organization that has been in a lot of different businesses. I mean, going back everything from Blockbuster Video to Simon & Schuster to amusement parks, basically. And so, I don't think that is common, and I don't think that will last, whatever the new version of merger or acquisition happens here, basically. Bob is a super talented individual. I've worked with him, known him for years, and I don't think there's something that's individual to point to him. I think it's extremely hard to turn a giant media company like this, a complex one, towards digital, basically. And there was a mixed track record for sure on that company's part. They missed some things, could have sold Showtime. They've had on and off talks with entities like Netflix or NBCU selling the lot. There's a lot of iterations of stuff that they could have done. So I don't think it's fair to pin something on one person. But I don't think a 3-person structure will be a permanent one.
And what's the health of Paramount Global as a business today?
Questionable, undervalued, something that should be a lot more exciting and a lot more profitable than it is right now. And I think that's why you're seeing all these changes. That they've stumbled with Paramount Plus. I think they plunked Showtime into it, and it's clearly not as dominant as, obviously a Netflix or any of the nearby competitors. I think CBS has been relatively healthy. They've done some really cool things with sports, the Super Bowl. But we're looking at some of their legacy cable channels, and I don't know how many young people know what MTV is and how it relates to music anymore. So I think there's some older stuff that is in that company that's very tied to the past, to the 90s and the early 2000s around cable networks. And that stuff is, I think, kind of going away. And so that's not terribly healthy either. So it's kind of a mixed entity that needs to be modernized and repurposed for the digital world.
Yeah, oh, the days when MTV actually played music. Paramount's deal is, as far as issues the office of the CEO will have to deal with right away. The company's deal with Charter Communications expires today. Where do negotiations stand on that?
I think that's also one that needs to be closed, and I think those things are, potential obstacles or issues, basically, if the company gets, merged either way. So I'm not privy to the intimate details of how that deal will open or close. But usually, in my view, those cable distribution deals will eventually get resolved, provided they're not, wildly apart on price on it. But I think to your point or to your question, that's kind of why this company is in a questionable set of circumstances that we're even talking about, a cable deal.
Right.
Some of the higher growth media enterprises don't even need to talk about that stuff.
All right, Seth Schachner with Strat America. Seth, always great to have you on. Thanks for being here.
Great to be here.